Hello guys, in today's video I'm going to explain why I'm not going to buy the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. As we all know, Canon just released the R6 Mark II and it has really nice specs, but there are some reasons why I'm not going to switch to Canon R6 Mark II, and I'm going to explain those to you. Don't get me wrong, this camera is really good and really capable, but the camera that I have and which I'm shooting right now is almost the same camera, and I think Canon has just released this camera to compete with the Sony, to be honest. Before we continue, let's check the Canon R6 Mark II specs, quite fast. 24 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. It has 3-inch fully articulating screen, which is quite common on the mirrorless cameras these days. 3690K dot electronic viewfinder. My eye is not able to, count that many dots, but there's that. 12 megapixel mechanically and 40 frames per second electronically. Continuous shooting, which is really nice. For example, if you're filming sports, 40 frames per second is quite good. 4K is downscaled from 6K, which is really good, and plus it's without crop up to 60 frames per second. This is also a really nice feature. It has built-in wireless, it weighs 680 grams, yada yada yada, and weather sealed body. And I'm checking the specs. This camera is almost identical with the Sony a7 IV, which is the camera that I'm using right now. And I think Canon just released this to compete with the Sony. The price is almost the same with the Sony a7 IV. It has less megapixel, 24 megapixel versus 33 megapixel on Sony a7 IV, and it can shoot up to 60 frames per second 4K without crop, which is better than a7 IV. I think Canon just wanted to compete with the a7 IV. And don't fall into trap. What I mean by that is, if you have already a7 IV, don't switch to Canon for this, because most probably you have invested on a lens, on Sony lenses already. But if you have, for example, a Canon body, let's say that you have Canon EOS R, then maybe it would make sense to switch to Canon R6 Mark II, or maybe you have some mirrorless bodies that you want to get into full frame. This is a really nice camera, but again, don't fall into hype, because there is a lot of videos on the YouTube. When there is a new release camera, YouTubers are getting those cameras for free to test them out and share with the audience, and they of course say really nice things about the cameras, but if you don't have the budget, don't try to push yourself to get the latest camera all the time. It doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. Because if you're planning to invest on the camera, I can highly recommend you to invest on the lenses. The reason is, lenses are not gonna lose so much value when you're trying to sell them, but the camera is not the case. You buy the camera after, let's say, 6 months. If you try to sell the camera, you're gonna lose a lot of value there. So I don't recommend you to change your camera all the time. My point is, don't fall into this trap. You don't have to change your camera all the time. Don't try to follow the hype, and I think some people is gonna get some value from this video. I hope this is why I made this video, and maybe people is gonna drop comments down below, hey, why are you trying to say bad things about the Canon? Don't get me wrong, I'm not making this video for that. I like Canon, I don't have any problem with that, and I'm pleased that they're making this really nice cameras, and I think a lot of people is gonna buy this camera and they're gonna fall in love with. As a consumer, I know how it goes. I don't want you to fall into the same trap that I do sometimes. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you find this video helpful, please crush the like button. It really helps the algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see this kind of content, and I will see you guys in the next one.